Okay. So, welcome everyone to this fourth session of our Danube and Black Sea Lighthouse Community of Practice. A warm welcome to all David Rest partners, associated partners, our David Rest associated regions, and also all further interested colleagues and members of this public and open community of practice. And I would also especially welcome, of course, our experts for today, Gloria De Paoli and Chia Wang from Action Environment. They are environmental economists and will be our experts for today, because this session will focus on financing and scaling wetland restoration and unlocking innovation in the Danube region. So they are really the experts in the field, and I hope that we can learn a lot from them and their inputs they have prepared. At first, I would like to give you a brief overview of what we will be doing in the next 1.5 hours. So I will start with a short presentation, as always, that aims to set this session in the context, because our community is constantly growing, and I would like to ensure that we are all on the same page. And then we will have 2 input sessions from our experts, as well as 2 slots that will be interactive and are really focused on working together. On the one hand, to assess the scalability of our David Rest innovations, and on the other, to match existing innovation support services with challenges and bottlenecks of wetland restoration we have identified in the previous community of practice sessions. And in the end, we will, of course, also have a slot and time for discussion. So, as mentioned, and as always, I would just like to give a very brief recap of what we are doing here. So the ultimate goal of our community of practice is to deploy and upscale innovations in wetland restoration. This will then be very beneficial, not only for the environment, but also for the local communities, socially as well as economically, which will be the focus for today. And to achieve that, we are building this community that promotes cooperation among a diverse range of stakeholders, and also between various governance levels on the local as well as the European level, to then really implement concrete solutions. To achieve all that, we have bi-monthly meeting, a joint working space on Ural, which we already used in previous sessions, and which will be one of the focuses of today. We are also creating a space for resources on our David Rest website. And you can, of course, always also reach me via email. Our bi-monthly sessions, the next one will be taking place in June, and I would already like to inform you in advance that the August session will not take place due to holiday seasons in many countries. So far within this community of practice, we had 3 sessions. With the first really presenting in detail our David Rest demos and the solutions that we are working on within our project. In the second session, we publicly welcomed our associated regions, which presented themselves and their challenges in wetland restoration. So we saw here some similarities and differences. And then the last session in February, we focused on the broader framework of this project, which is the EU mission Restore Our Oceans and Waters by 2030. We invited EcoDali as the coordination and support action of our Danube and Black Sea Lighthouse, as well as Restore for Life, the sister project of David Rest. It was a really insightful session. We had good discussions, and two takeaways were, on the one hand, the need for a focus exchange between similar projects to really create a larger impact. And on the other hand, also the importance of community engagement for a successful wetland restoration. All these sessions are available on YouTube in case you find them interesting and didn't have the chance to participate. And lastly, I would just like to shortly mention that this community is part of the Danube project. It has a budget of about 9 million euro with 46 partners from 12 countries. We follow a holistic approach to wetland restoration, meaning we not only focus on the technical aspects, but also ecological as well as economic factors. Because in the end, it's of course best if our solutions are good for the environment and also profitable at the same time. And this will also be exactly the focus of today's session. In the center will be our 3 demo sites in Croatia, Bulgaria, and Romania. We have talked about them in detail during the past sessions. And also our experts, Gloria and Chia, will mention them a little bit more in detail. So without further ado, I would say let's move already to the second point here on the agenda, setting the scene. And I, again, would like to warmly welcome our experts who will now give an overview of innovation and ecosystem restoration and different innovation types and scalability assessment criteria. So I will stop sharing my screen and give the floor to you.
Thanks a lot, Miriam. Thanks for inviting us, and thank you all for having us today. I will share my screen. So the topic today that we're discussing is how can innovation support services and financing can support upscaling wetland restoration, and which is a topic we are investigating as part of EcoDALI. And as you might know, but just to do a little bit of introduction, EcoDALI is the coordination and support action of the Danube Lighthouse, and the objective of the project is to strengthen Danube governance and innovation for ecological restoration, creating a strong innovation ecosystem through Living Lab system, and also providing a digital portal for the EU mission. Danube is an innovation action, of course, which is part of the Danube-Black and Black Sea Lighthouse, together with other 6 projects. And and myself, in particular, in EcoDALI, we are working on Work Package 5, which is on supporting the transfer, replication, and wider dissemination of innovations addressing freshwater restoration. And we are doing this by developing a catalogs of innovative restorative solutions and innovation support services through capacity building and knowledge transfer. And we will be developing this year a guidebook for innovation in the Danube-Black Sea region. And we are also working on a strategy for supporting upscaling innovations. And so today's journey, as Miriam already presented, there will be a mix of presentations and co-creation activities. We will start from setting the scene of innovation in ecosystem restoration, which will be followed by co-creation part 1, where we'll be focusing on rapid scalability assessment of innovations tested in Danube. Then we will look more into the details at how governance, financial arrangement, and support services can support innovation in wetland restoration. And this will lead us to the second part of the co-creation, which will focus on how these arrangements and services can help addressing the challenges and bottlenecks that you have identified in the previous sessions. And then we will have a first quick synthesis of the group discussions. What is important is that there are some concepts that might look a bit vague or not concrete enough, but what I want to stress is that it is the objective of the session is to start reflecting and thinking together about how existing support services, for example, can support what DAO Stress is doing on the field. So there will be no right or wrong answers. The objective is not to solve the challenges and bottlenecks today, but rather to start thinking. And also it is a mutual learning process because this is the first time that we test this type of interactive approach, of interactive sessions. So we will learn from each other, and we are really excited about it. And now I will leave the word to my colleague Tia on the first part of our presentation, Setting the Scene.
Thank you very much, Gloria. I'm also very happy to be here today. So hello, everyone. As Miriam already introduced me, my name is Jia. I'm an environmental economist at Active Environment. Here is what we'll cover in this part. I'll start with introducing the concept of innovation in the context of ecosystem restoration in the Danube region. And then I'll walk you through the DAO Rest demonstration sites and show how their innovative solutions can be grouped by type. And after that, Gloria will take over to talk about upscaling, including the upscaling cycle and the criteria used to assess scalability. So, as we all know, the Danube region is rich in biodiversity, and it also plays an important role in economic activities across the whole Europe. But this important habitat recently is under increasing pressures like human activities, climate change, etc. So that's why restoring ecosystems in the Danube calls for innovative solutions to ensure a sustainable and ecological restoration. And before we move on, just a quick reminder is that an innovation ecosystem refers to a dynamic network of actors, resources, and support services. So all working together to develop and promote sustainable solutions. Innovation in ecosystem restoration can actually take many forms, but in general, it can be grouped into four main types. There is technological innovation, which refers to the development and implementation of new materials, tools, or techniques to address restoration challenges. A good example here would be the nature-based solution, which is an approach that is being increasingly recognized for its effectiveness and also the sustainable side. Then we also have economic and financial innovation, which is about finding new ways to fund and support restoration efforts. So this could include mechanisms like green bonds, which are designed to raise capital for projects with positive environmental impacts. Then the social innovation focuses on changing social practices or institutions. So these solutions are social both in their goals and in the way they are developed. For example, by encouraging active involvement from local communities and stakeholders. And finally, we have innovation in governance, structure, and policy, which refers to new tools or practices for designing and implementing policies. The DAO Rest project is testing and implementing innovation actions through three main demonstration sites, Croatia, Bulgaria, and Romania. In Croatia, the demo site is exploring 7 innovative solutions, as what we could see here in the yellow boxes. So these innovative solutions cover 3 out of the 4 types of innovation that we talked about earlier. Starting with the technological innovation, so it's about develop strategies to increase carbon sequestration capacity, monitoring activities for biodiversity, water quality, and soil health, develop strategies for wetland improvement, mapping out critical restoration sites, and setting up a green hatchery to improve biodiversity. On the economic and financial side, the demo partners are working on business models based on wetland potential. And finally, in terms of social innovation, they are creating a digital portal to engage citizens in restoration efforts. In Bulgaria, at the Lower Danube demo site, there are 5 innovative solutions, and all of them fall under technological innovations. So these include an intelligent freshwater monitoring and management system, a mobile measuring station, and a river research drone, terrain modeling for inland canal systems, piloting a tidal power generator to support restoration work, and finally, pilot deployment of an automated operation of locks. Moving on to Romania, the Danube Delta demo is developing 4 innovative solutions. And once again, they are all technological innovations, which focus on combining remote sensing, hydraulic modeling, and in-situ monitoring, managing and monitoring reeds to improve carbon sequestration, improving the hydrological conditions in lakes and salt marshes, and improving recirculating agriculture systems for fish farming solutions. So these are the innovation solutions being tested on the ground in the wet rest demo sites. Now I'll give the floor to Gloria, who will guide you through the next part, looking at how this innovation can be scaled up and transferred across the regions.
Thank you, Tia. In fact, the reason why we provide an overview of the innovative actions that are being tested is because the ultimate objective is to upscale them, as Tia mentioned. So what is upscaling of innovation? It is a process that leads to a widespread use of an innovative action. So, and to do this, we need to create the necessary social and institutional preconditions for scaling out to happen efficiently. And this is associated with qualitative processes like transition, institutionalization, transformation, integration, evolution, and development. Which, in very simple words, upscaling can be defined as identifying what works and bringing those approaches to scale. And how does upscaling happen? It happens through the so-called upscaling cycle, which starts from a new idea, model, approach. Okay, a model approach, and this is precisely what is being done when we test innovative solutions for ecosystem restoration. So MBS, innovative financing instruments, new forms of partnership, or new governance or policy mechanisms. And once the idea is out, we move to the testing phase, which is learning and programming. And this is exactly the phase where the Danube Lighthouse is mostly, and especially the innovation actions, because innovation actions are made to test and implement innovative solution, whereas Mission Ocean and the EU strategy for Danube Region are at an upper level of programming. Then once the solutions are tested and they work, there is a phase of leveraging resources to scale this innovation, to scale up this innovation through government, private sector, development partner, and also other groups. And the last phase is actual scaling up results, and where Ecodali is playing a role. So it also imply to ensure the sustainability of the solution and so that it can bring to a multiple impact. So how do we know whether an innovative activity can be scaled up? How scalable it is? We can use the scalability assessment, which is based on 6 criteria. First of all, is the issue that the innovation addresses, is it important? And how this activity is credible and observable by key stakeholders and adopters. Can they grasp the importance of this innovation? And then, is this innovation easy to implement, and how easy it is? Then a 4th criteria, which is also important, are there potential benefits, or is there a business case for potential adopters? Can it be profitable? And based on this, is it possible to develop a business case for potential investors? And as a 6th criteria, we need to assess whether the public sector is offering an enabling environment to support the upscaling of the innovative action. And this criteria will be used in the first co-creation activity, which is a rapid scalability assessment of the DAO@Rest demos. So Miriam will share a mural. We will have the 6 criteria, the 6 scalability criteria on the one hand, and you will be asked to rank the 3 pilots under each criterion based on the potential of each pilot under the criterion. And the pilot that receives the highest score will be the object of the co-creation activity in the second part, in the second session. So I stop sharing my screen, and I can further provide instruction once the mural is in front of us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gloria and Kia, for this initial input and for setting the scene for today's session. At first, maybe I would like to open the floor for questions in case there are already some. But if not, we can go to mural. So I will post the link in the chat and share my screen again. So we are now moving to the first co-creation part. As Gloria already mentioned, the rapid and collective scalability assessment of our demos. So here you can see our mural. So it's a digital whiteboard and collaboration space. We use it in all of our community of practice sessions, and it's continuously expanded. So here at the top, you can see a brief information space. And here at the bottom, you can see our working space and the sections of challenges and bottlenecks, connecting and exchanging, and synergies and ways to collaborate. We talked about them in previous sessions, and today we will focus here on the bottom part, the scalability assessment and innovation support services. So I will now scroll in and hand back again to Gloria.
Yes, you can see there are the 6 criteria, and then you can rate the 3 pilots from the one with the higher potential of meeting the criteria to the one with the lower potential to meet the criteria. And you can move the post-its and rank the pilots according to what you think. And please, you can also talk and ask questions or provide your ideas by talking. And at the end, I will I will ascertain the winner file, the winner demo.
So I would especially invite now our DAO-addressed partners in this meeting, especially those that are working in the demos and are familiar with them, to maybe raise your hand or move the post-its. And please also, if this exercise is not clear or if you have any questions, please also feel free to raise your hand or just open your mic and ask.
Maybe one observation I can make in the meantime. It is true that under some criterion, for example, importance of the issue that the innovation addresses, the three demos might appear to be equally important. The issues addressed are equally important because they are similar. But it is true that on other criterion, such as, for example, potential benefits or business case for potential investors, there might be differences in the potential of the 3 demos. So if you don't know where to start, you can also start from the easiest ones, and then you don't have to go in order of the criterion.
So I see, for example, Secom has already placed some post-its here. Maybe you would like to say some words on why you have placed, for example, the Croatian demo here on the higher potential and then the Bulgarian demo here on the higher potential. Just feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, I just did a mistake. I don't know. I had some problems. It was by mistake. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I mean, you can also, I'm sure it's maybe not a mistake. You can also explain your rationale behind your choice, and we can discuss it together. Or also, I don't know who placed the other post-its. Maybe you can also quickly explain what was your idea behind it, and we can discuss it together. Okay, I see a lot of high potential of all demo sites regarding credibility and observability of the innovation with key stakeholders and adopters. That's good.
I'm also moving post-its. So, for example, on the first criterion, it is a bit arbitrary because I don't have the same knowledge that you have of the demos. But for example, on the first criterion, I ranked Croatia, the Croatian demo with a higher potential, and the other two equally on average potential. But why that? Because the Croatian demo also has some social and economic innovation potential. So which is why I rated it as a higher potential. But as you see, you don't need to have like a strong basis to make your choice. This is a test, it's an exercise. So
maybe Gloria, we can briefly go through the other 5 criterion as well, and then already move to the second expert session, and then
yes, but I see that in terms of credibility and observability of the innovation with key stakeholders and adopters, it seems that the three demos have the same high potential, which is a good news. In fact, whereas the ease with which the innovation can be effectively implemented and adopted and implemented, it seems that Bulgaria might have a higher potential. And I see the Croatian pilot, the Croatian demo has the best potential in the last 3 cases, the last 3 criterion, which are potential benefits for potential investors, business case for potential investors, and also public sector enabling environment. And as there is this quite this unanimity on the 3 last criteria, and there's a preference for Croatia, I invite the people who put the post-its in who rated Croatia as the higher performer to explain why they did so. Also, something important, which I haven't specified from the beginning, ranking one demo higher than the other doesn't imply that the demo is better than the other. There is no this type of qualitative judgment involved.
okay, so if there's currently no one that wants to further detail the rationale behind their choice, I think we can move to the presentation by Tia, and then have this in mind, what we worked on here for the second co-creation session.
Yes, I think we have a clear target for the second co-creation section, which will be focusing on the Croatian demo.
Okay, perfect. Then I will stop sharing my screen.
And I think, Tia, you can share yours.
Yeah, let me quickly share my screen. I hope you can all see my slides. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. So now let's take a closer look at how innovation is being supported when it comes to wetland restoration in the Danube region. Here's what we're going to cover in this section. First, I'll talk about what innovation ecosystems look like in the context of restoring ecosystems in the Danube region. Then we'll move on to some interesting governance and financing approaches that are helping to make this innovation possible. And finally, I'll show you what kinds of innovation support services are available, especially those in the catalog of the on the Ecodali portal. So to build an innovation ecosystem, there are 3 key pillars. Actors are at the center of an innovation ecosystem. They could come up with new ideas or technologies. They could also collaborate, share knowledge, and also provide fundings to turn innovation into actions. Next, we have resources. These are the inputs that support innovation. For example, it could be a natural environment, skilled people, social networks, infrastructures, and also, of course, financial means. And finally, the enabling environment, that is everything around the innovation process. So things like regulations and policies, the market system, and also the cultural and institutional context. So who are the actors in the Danube region when it comes to innovating? We're actually talking about a broad mix, including government and local authorities, research institutions and universities, civil society and NGOs, private sector, and also some environmental organizations. So now let's look at some specific examples from the Danube region. Actors can be split into 2 groups. The first are those working on innovation in a general sense. And secondly, those who focus specifically on innovation for ecosystem restoration. So starting with the first type, the general innovation actors. At the European level, the European Commission plays a key role in supporting research and innovation. Then at the national and local levels, we have the Danube Cup Network, which is a group of 9 universities along the Danube, all working together to promote entrepreneurship and innovation. We also have the Water Innovation Lab Danube, which tackles water-related challenges through cross-border collaboration. And the Danube Tech Valley Initiative, which is launched by GlobeSec, that aims to boost innovation capacity and competitiveness in the region. Now zooming on the second type, those who focus specifically on ecosystem restorations. There is first EU SDR, the European Union Strategy for Danube Region. It supports cross-border projects on environmental sustainability, water quality, and biodiversity. The second is ICPDR, the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River, who coordinates and implements policies to reduce pollution and to protect the ecosystems. Then third, we have IAD, the International Association for Danube, which is a scientific network to promote aquatic biodiversity conservation. We also have the DDNI, the Danube Delta National Institute for Research and Development, who is active in biodiversity research, water quality assessment, and restoring habitats. And finally, the WWF Bulgaria focuses on wildlife protection, sustainable water management, and policy advocacy. Another key element of innovation ecosystem is the enabling environment. And in the Danube region, collaboration and communication between different countries and different stakeholders are really important. And this is made possible through platforms such as the European Union Strategy for the Danube Region, the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River, and also many EU-funded projects that help to share knowledge and connect experts across borders. Another important part of the enabling environment is the strong policy and regulatory support, because they give directions and create a stability for innovation to grow. And of course, fundings. because innovation needs money. And in the Danube region, support comes from support could come from different directions. For example, the EU programs such as Horizon Europe, Interreg, and LIFE projects. Also, national government grants for restoration projects, and even some private investment, especially in sustainable infrastructure and ecosystem services. Here is a concrete example of innovative governance, the Plastic Cup Initiative. So this project is now seen as one of the most effective river cleanup campaigns in the entire Danube River basin. And over the past 10 years, they've collected more than 400 tons of waste directly from the river. But what makes this initiative stand out is that it's not just about picking up trash. They also focusing on monitoring, education, and also recycling. Another point is that within this initiative, the private sector works hand in hand with the local communities, so they all work together towards the same goal. And finally, more information about this initiative could be found either directly from their website, or there's a webinar organized within the EcoDali project that you could find the videos on YouTube. Let's now turn to the third pillar of the innovation ecosystem, the available resources. So in the Danube region, these come in many forms. So first, there is the skilled human resources. Lots of people here have years of experience in restoration, implementation, monitoring work. And then there's funding opportunities from either EU programs or national or private resources. And finally, the infrastructure, which refers to facilities that support research and information sharing. For example, universities or some environmental monitoring stations. Here is a closer look in funding resources in the Danube region. So the EU programs, we could see that EU programs make up the majority of the funding. The figure on the right shows data from 2010 to 2020. And we could see that more than 140 million euros came from the international sources. So that's about 80% of all fundings for ecosystem restoration in the Danube region. Support from the national government and private sector remains a smaller share. And here we could see that the governments have contributed around 27 million euros and the private sector about 7 million, which is about only 4% of the total. So while the EU funding is clearly a major driver, there's still a lot of room to grow when it comes to national and especially the private sector involvement. Here is an example of innovative financial approach, the pro-biodiversity business. So in short, it's a business that delivers net ecological benefit, which means that it helps to improve the ecological condition of a specific area over time, like restoring their habitats or increasing the biodiversity. And what's more important is that the sustainable use of natural resources is built into the investment right from the start. So it's not just an extra feature, it's really at the core of how it works. And one real life of such business is Field Fair, which is an investment company that has environmental objectives written in its statutes. So the company issued a REID biomass bond to raise its startup capital, which is a creative financial tool that links the investment with ecological restoration. So this whole pro-biodiversity business is not just about business profit. It's also about creating green jobs, supporting local economies, and also restoring nature at the same time. The innovation support services are to help to assist actors, for example, innovators, companies, and organizations. So these support services help actors to develop and to implement new solutions. And as we can see here, they act like a connective tissue in the innovation ecosystem and link things together. So the goal of such support services is to strengthen collaboration so that experience, knowledge, and also opportunities can flow between all parts of the system. And here is an overview of existing innovation support services in the Danube region. First, we have capacity building and education, which is the most common one, and it emphasizes knowledge transfer, skill enhancement, and public awareness. Second, we have knowledge exchange and networking, which helps stakeholders to connect and collaborate. Then we have the cross-border cooperation, which supports collaboration and integration between countries in the Danube region. Then the research and development support that provides access to experts, technology transfer, and advanced research facilities. And the last one is about advisory and consultancy services. So this helps actors to design better projects, to shape policies, and also implement strategies more effectively. To make all these services easier to find and use, last year, the EcoDali project Work Package 5 has developed a catalog of innovation support services, which is available online through the EcoDali portal. So the catalog gives you an overview of the organizations that support, that offer support across the Danube region. And also it includes informations such as the type of organization, country of operation, scope of activities, and also the nature of their operation. Finally, to wrap up, here are some key lessons about supporting innovation in ecosystem restoration. First, it's essential to keep all stakeholders aligned, whether they're from different sectors or different member states, because this really helps to build synergies, to improve coordination, and also to support cross-border and cross-sector collaboration. The second point is that policy alignment really matters. So when different policies are in sync, it's much easier to create the right environment for innovation to thrive. And then funding procedures needs to be sustainable and simple at the same time, so that innovation can continue over time without unnecessary delays or bureaucracies. And finally, getting the private sector involved is really important because they often have financial and technological resources to make a difference. Here are some strategies to involve the private sector, for example, to create a green exchange market, or to establish a voluntary carbon market to offset carbon footprint. So meaning that companies can buy and sell carbon credits, just like trading goods in the traditional markets. And also to promote CSR initiatives to encourage the companies to integrate sustainable practices. So that's all from me. Thanks so much for listening. We will now move on to the second co-creation part, and I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over to Gloria.
Thank you. I will just share the slide because it is easier.
Also, thank you very much from my side. I would also just quickly give the opportunity to the audience to ask questions to the presentations if there are some. But if not, Gloria, please continue.
For the second part of the co-creation session, we will focus, as we said before, on the Croatian demo, and it will be done in 2 steps. The overall question of the session is how can existing innovation support services and financing arrangements support wetland restoration and innovation upscaling in the Croatian demo? Beyond project funding, of course. And so maybe it is easier if we go to the mural. I will stop sharing mine because we are moving in 2 steps and I can better explain.
Yes, I can share the mural.
Thank you.
And I also copied here a brief flyer about the Croatian demo as a reminder maybe for the audience to make it a little bit easier.
Thanks. So the first step, and before we move to the next one, the first step, in the first line, you have the challenges and bottlenecks to wetland restoration that the community of practice identified in a previous session. So. First question for you. You will see you have voting stars on the 2 sides of the table. Please, can you please vote the 3 challenges and bottlenecks that are most important for the Croatian demo, in your opinion? I can read the option. They are the challenges and bottlenecks as you vote. So one challenge can be financing options that might be missing or might be insufficient or might be difficult to reach, land ownership or the need for large scale funding. Also, the fact that general guidelines are difficult to give as each restoration type and case is unique. You can have limited data, permitting delays, and also how to address synergies and communication with other community of practices in the region. Adaptable solution might also be a challenge, or increase the motivation of experts and project managers might be an issue. There is also some space for other challenges that might be relevant for the Croatian demo that are not included in this list. So you can also vote others. I see that permitting delays seems to be quite an important challenge for the Croatian demo. Then the difficulty of giving general guidelines as each project is unique, but also land ownership is indicated as a possible challenge. Then I see a star that is in between the 2. So I'm not sure which one is the right place, whether it is how to address synergy and communication or adaptable solution. And now I stop talking, and I ask you if you wish to take the word and explain why you are selecting these challenges for the Croatian demo.
I would especially invite those who are more familiar with the demo to maybe explain your voting. So I see that we have ZECOM, we have University of Zagreb also in this meeting. I think we have also PSSS from the region. Please feel free to unmute yourself and explain your decision, or also for the others, if you have any questions, please also feel free to ask them to make this exercise easier for you.
Yes, Bojan, please.
Most question is related to they are in the 2000 and they are
the services, innovation support services. Do you have in mind innovation upscaling
those guys
for
they
services
subsidies. How
or
do they
innovation?
can resolve that? To find new places to plant those
I don't-
maybe it's easier if you put your question in the chat, because it's quite hard to understand.
Yes,
Sorry,
thank
it's
you.
quite hard to understand you because of the background noise. I'm not sure if you got the question, Gloria. So maybe, Bojan, if you can type it in the chat, that would be helpful.
No, I only heard that it was about innovation support services, but I missed the rest. In the meantime, I see that the voting activity has decreased. So probably we might have the three winning challenges. Which so it looks like that the key challenges for you in the Croatian demo are land ownership. The fact that general guidelines are difficult to give, that can cover a wide range of projects and innovations, and then permitting delays wins by far as a challenge. So Miriam, if it is fine with you, we could move to the second step of the exercise. So we focus on the three challenges and
Gloria?
bottlenecks. Yes.
Yes, before moving to the second step, we
Ah,
now
I
have a question of Bojan in the chat. So he wanted a specification if we are talking about innovation support or upscaling support services.
It can be both. We don't have this distinction in Nicodali actually, but innovation support services can serve both to implement and test an innovation type, but also to upscale it. I guess it depends on how you use it and the level of maturity of the innovation. And apologies, Bojan, I didn't see it. I didn't see your question first. So now you have post-its for all the categories of innovation support services that were presented by Tia. And now what we would like to know from you is, in your opinion, given the three challenges that we're looking at, which innovation support services can best address these challenges. And so just to recap, you can have business model development, access to workspace and facilities, legal services, intellectual protection rights, innovation strategy consulting, funding and investment support, mentorship and networking opportunities, training and workshops, market research and analysis, or prototype development and testing. Also, in this case, there are no right or wrong answers, because in principle, several of these support services can help address these challenges. So
And also, if you are unsure what is behind these terms, please also feel free to ask at any time.
So I'm seeing some first answers. For example, to address the issue of land ownership, legal services can help, training and workshops can help. Also, training and workshops can help in developing guidance. Market research can support issues with land ownership as well as mentoring and networking can help with the development of general guidelines. And maybe some of these can also help in overcoming permitting delays, although. And yes, thank you. For example, for permitting delays, we can have legal services supporting training and workshops. And please also, even though a service has already been coupled with a challenge, please do not hesitate to also express your opinion and add one post-it, because we can also have a measure of how much the group is supporting a certain combination. We have a new challenge, a new service to support the challenge with general guidelines, which is innovation strategy consulting. And also, if you want to say more about your choices, please do not hesitate to take the word and explain to the group why you made a specific choice. I see also that there are some additional services that are coming up. So, for example, other than the innovation support services that were proposed by us. So I see that a way to address the lack of or the challenge with developing common guidelines can be addressed also by facilitating that community voices are heard in the decision making, which is a very good point. When it comes to permitting delays, there are several suggestions that are coming up. So legal services can surely help, as well as trainings and workshops. But then we have additional suggestions, which is engage with authorities proactively and also understand the regulatory landscape early. And maybe also to understand, to build this understanding, maybe this is my opinion, that mentorship and networking can help, or also consulting services, for example. I see that there are some suggestions also on how to address synergies and communication with other community of practices in the regions through trainings and workshops, through mentorship and networking opportunity. it is a very good idea if you have, if you have ideas on how these innovation support services can support other challenges, please do not hesitate to put your post-its elsewhere.
I also find this one posted here very interesting. So the importance of community voices in decision making, because this is also what we have discussed during our last community of practice session, and what also, for example, Mihai, the coordinator of Restore for Life, shared with us. And what we, of course, also know in Davidrest, that really community engagement is key to secure the success of wetland restoration actions, because without the local communities, we can't assure that our actions are successful, and also that they are sustainable even after the project funding. So I don't know who wrote this here, or also the others, if you have some examples or some ideas of really successful community engagement in decision making. Otherwise, I can also scroll out.
I also see that for addressing the need for general guidelines, someone said that prototype development and testing can help, and indeed it is a good idea to. It is also what we are doing with the lighthouses in a way. And also something that probably didn't emerge from the from our slides, the Danube-Black Sea Lighthouse and all the governance structure with the coordination and support action and innovation actions and all the different activities that are being developed in the projects, for example, testing and implementation of solutions, or the building of a living lab process. These are all actions that are supporting innovation as well.
I would also have a more general question to you, Gloria and Chia. So we talked about, or we saw during your presentation, that most of the funding in this field is still public, which is great, but the private investments and private funding has to increase a lot more to really ensure a broad and sustainable wetland restoration. So from your experience and from your work, what are some key points to involve the private sector more, or to make investments in this field more attractive?
This is a very good question, which is what what we are trying to investigate with all these projects. As shown, for example, in the Green Bond project that Tia presented, in that case, you have a return for investment for investors who invest money in the project, and this is a really big challenge because it is not all you do not always. You cannot always ensure this return of investment in wetland restoration, but this can probably also be addressed in the design phase of the network-based solutions or wetland restoration activities, because you get a lot of benefits from restoration, and these are normally not made explicit for for communities, for the policy, for decision makers, and also for investors. So probably one point on which it is important to work on is to make these benefits explicit, and also to have these benefits in mind from the very design phase of either the MBS of the restoration action. I'm not sure that I answered to your question.
And also
Thank you.
and also to complement, I think also communication really matters, because when you start for example, the pro biodiversity business, which is quite novel, that not all the people have the idea or seeing such business. So at the start, for starters, for startup companies, they really have to communicate, to explain well their why they're here, what they aim to do, and so that people have less suspicious, I would call it, so that to invest in such companies, so that it's not just some brand ideas, but without any results or anything.
And also, now that Tia makes me think of it, for example, the restoration in the pro biodiversity business, for example, the green bonds are focusing on reed, and reed grows and reed can be used, and it is a sustainable building material. And this is already from the design phase of the restoration action, they already have that objective in mind, to produce sustainably produce reed. For example, when you restore wetlands, maybe that wetland can have flood protection function. So already from the beginning, when you are planning and designing the restoration action, you should already think how to best ensure flood protection and for whom, and already start a negotiation, for example, with the local communities that are benefiting from this wetland restoration, because avoided flood, if you avoid floods, you have avoided costs. So it has an economic value, and this can also be used as a financing return, as a way to return on finance. It is a bit the old idea of payment for ecosystem services, for example, that can be rethought in innovative ways as well to ensure a return on the investment for wetland restoration.
Thank you very much. I think we can now, because we are also slowly approaching the end of the session, move to the conclusion and maybe the way forward in regards to upscaling innovation in the Danube region. I'm not sure, Gloria, if you want to draw a general conclusion, can also stop sharing my screen, and then in the end, I will do a wrap up.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for joining the session and playing the game with us. In terms of supporting innovation, what I can see first, if we take a step back, we all have still some challenges in imagining how the innovations we are working on could be upscaled and could really made part of usual practices. We all do, and this is also why we are investigating these aspects in the Danube-Black Sea Lighthouse. In terms of innovation support services, there are some types that look more popular within the group, and probably they can be better suited to address the challenges we are all facing. So training and workshops, for example, or mentorship and networking opportunity. And legal services as well. I think these are the three that rank best, that have been chosen the most in this exercise. And then you have other services that can come into play for specific challenges, market research and analysis, funding and investment support, and these in particular for landowner, to address issues with land ownership, or for developing common guidelines. There are other services that can come into play, like innovation strategy consulting, prototype development and testing, and also include community voices in decision making. And when it comes to address issues with permitting delays, additional services and supporting action can be to engage with authorities proactively, have a good understanding of regulatory landscape, and also to have some institutional trainings to solve this issue. And I don't know, Miriam, Tia, do you have additional key messages that you noticed, that you collected during this session?
Do you want to go first, Tia?
Oops, I'm muted. No, it's more not a conclusion part, but it's something that I wanted to mention because what Gloria said reminds me that within the EcoDali project, we're under the work package 5. We are now working on a guidebook, to a practical tool to help the entrepreneurs, the innovators, and also the startup companies to have the innovation in their business. So we're having a quick survey that I'm gonna soon share the link in the chat. That if there are some people wants to help us, it really takes 5 minutes. That's just what I want to mention.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. I think this is a great group to share this link with, and I kindly invite everyone to take the 3 to 5 minutes, participate in the survey, and that way we can assure that Action can work on a really practical guidebook that's also helpful for our DAO project. So what I noted as some takeaways from this session. So first of all, thank you very much, Gloria and Kia, for your presentation, for your insights, and also facilitation of these co-creation sessions. I think it has been really interesting to initiate reflections on upscaling innovation. I mean, within DAO address, it's already running for a while, the project, but still I believe we are in the beginning. It will run until 2027, so there is still a lot of time in the project, but it's very important to start thinking how we can really assure a widespread use of the innovations we are creating. I also liked the example of the plastic cup initiative very much because of the connection of the private sector with the local communities. So I think this connection is a very important factor and maybe a key to success in wetland restoration activities, or in any ecosystem restoration initiatives. And I also noted that, Gloria, I think it was you who mentioned in the beginning that an innovation ecosystem is a dynamic network of different kinds of actors. And that also reminded me a little bit of our community of practice here, and that would be really nice if this community is also growing in that sense as an sort of innovation ecosystem, or a community that really where innovation thrives, where we exchange on different innovations and support ourselves, our organizations, to make sure that the wetland restoration innovations and activities are growing and that we are all reaching our goals and also support the Mission Ocean objectives in that way. I would also now give the last chance to the audience. If you have any questions to our two experts here, our environmental economists, this is the chance now. Carmen, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to take the floor. Only to congratulate our experts. I think it was a great job, and this possibility to create together the table and the entire image, I think, was very useful. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Carmen.
Thank you for the feedback. Okay. So we're coming to the end. Again, thank you very much to everyone here in this meeting for your participation. As always, I will come back to you with a follow-up email and also share the slides that we used today. And I would just like to shortly remind you that our next meeting will take place on the second Friday of June, so the 13th of June. I will inform you in advance of the agenda that we are planning for the meeting. And that would be it. Thank you so much for your participation, for your attention, even though it was today in a smaller round, which is probably due to the IAD conference taking place in parallel, but still it was a productive session. So thank you very much and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Miriam, for organizing.
Bye-bye.
And thanks
Bye.
all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.